And today we're talking about on budget measures about the anti-DEI mods that have been cropping up lately. I already talked about the Sims one, which honestly, as a simmer, I'll just if you want to check out the full video, I'll put it somewhere on a thing. But this is just a Spark Note version that essentially they're wasting their time because it's going to be a whack-a-mole that they're going to be keep doing. So like Nintendo's doing emulation, like instead of making good games, I mean, to be fair, compared to the rest of the industry, I'll give Nintendo credit that their most of their games are pretty good compared to the rest of the industry. But Nintendo has sort of that brand awareness of like Super Mario and Legend of Zelda that were sort of innovators in the 90s. Not a map. But anyways, first off, let's just start off with what are some of the DEI mods. There's Sims 4 anti-DEI mod that turns every single like diverse townie to white, and the ones that are like gay and lesbian, it turns them to siblings. Which I just honestly I would have gone for the full punch meta joke where it's like um, they were roommates at the end of the day. Just make them roommates, not siblings. Anyways, I'd have gone that route if I'd done that. But to be honest, it's the best thing to do is if you don't like this franchise is, don't buy it. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm waiting for a big sale on Sims 4 because I was going to get the Horse Ranch one, but after hearing how a lot of people have sort of their corrupt save files and stuff, I'm like, I'm going to wait off on Horse Ranch. Even though I love horses and I want to pet the horses, pet all the horsies, pet them all. So that's the first mod. There's the Elder Scrolls Oblivion mod. Essentially, they, instead of having body type A and B, they put male and female for, body type A and B, and they made it male and female. And then there's the one where and this was online, where they essentially nerfed Astarion's butt and made him a flat booty, and got rid of his crotch. But you know what? If that's what you want in a game, have fun. I would have been like, we're making that booty bigger, and we're making them crotchy more crotchier. So that's. But if you want flat booty Asterion and no crotch Asterion, that's your game. Have fun with it. It's a single player game, so it's not affecting me anyway. And how I play my single player game, which I think that's sort of especially with The Sims and Baldur's Gate, both mods, they're both single player games, both optional. Yeah. So that's sort of some of the mods that I noticed. I don't consider that anti-woke or whatever. I mean, it is probably into the anti-woke category because going against sort of Todd body type A or B, but it's like it's male and female. Like, I'm gonna go up to ask someone, hey, by the way, are you body type A or B? And people just look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like most normal people will not understand. Especially if they never played video games, but they won't understand what you're saying in general. It's like, what? It's male and female. And especially with a game that probably had that option already with male and female, I think that changing it is not good. At the end of the day, the Elder Scrolls had sort of male and female in the original version, so I don't see what they're trying to aim at that, you know? But so, anyways, why are these mods cropping up? I think one, it's people are just frustrated in general. Um, First off, there is this contentious relationship between community managers and so the players. And I think they lump all gamers in this one hive mind, which is, I'll be honest, really, really bad thought process because we're all humans, we all have unique thoughts and stuff. And plus, I think a lot of people are just frustrated, like, other than contentious relationship, is they're not being heard. And a lot of sites like Nexus are abusing their power, and I think gamers are just fed up. I mean, I think in general the culture war has pretty much rotted everyone's brains on both sides because now you got people that are trying to find essentially the woke in everything because they don't want to deal with it. Which at the end of the day, that's their prerogative and that's their money. But it's sort of like one of those things where you're fighting a war it's never ending, and this was essentially brought on by the crazy, loony, woke online people, terminally online woke mob. This was brought on by them. These mods were brought on by them. That's honestly what I think. Isaac Newton's law of physics. For every action, there's equal and opposite reaction. This is sort of like the opposite reaction of everything that's been going on is sort of last, let's say, 10 years or so. I would say, since 2014, but I'd say, 2016, that's like 9 years ago. That's sort of essentially where I think this has been going, and has been going, because essentially the terminally online, no, not Twata mob, but Blue Sky mob have pushed so hard that people just, it's sort of the pendulum is just swinging back in their face. I feel like they're not being listened to, frustrated, and mocked. And here's the issue. I think I'm going to be coming back to this every single second, every time on this podcast, is that you cannot attack your customers and not give your customers what they want. This is why, and even I predicted this before, that at the end of the day, all the Western studios are going to crumble, while places like China, maybe Japan, if they get their act together, and South Korea are going to be the ones that are going to stand tall at the end of this. Because they give customers what they want. Good gameplay, attractive characters that don't look like they've been through the wood chipper. Great stories that don't feel like sanitized PR messes. They went through an HR department and it was like, okay, we gotta scrub this, that. This is problematic, that's problematic. This, and instead of like, I agree there's certain stuff that shouldn't be, said, like, I think like racial slurs, like blackface, caricatures of the people, like minorities and gays, which by the way, the left does that, but on their shows, but I think that's something that should be discussed in another thing, and that's all the representation they claim, but anyways, and like sort of characters and not characters with their own free wills. And at the end of the day, it sort of makes this hot mess that when it comes to stories, and I think that's sort of Dawn Trails fail, where it's sort of a very safety uh, HR story. Like some HR Karen just had enough time in their day, was like, okay, and they got their little magnifying glasses or big magnifying glasses with their bob and just like moved the bob from one side of the head to the other so they can see what they're doing and look at the script. So many storytelling opportunities for Dawn Trail that the writers really didn't take it. Like if they were going to kick out Conan anyway, instead of having him just break the tile, have them work with Garul Dajar or Bakul Dajar. That could have sort of given way to like where Speen would. I'm not Speen. My bad. Wuklaman. Of course, I like Speen better as a character, but that's why it keeps popping in my head, like so that Freudian slip. But Wuklama could have had. Because she could have had to work with Bakul Dajar and Zrol Dajar, and it could have gave them more time to shine as a villain and gave him more depth, and also just gave the story some more risk, but I digress on that point. At the end of the day, the sort of anti-woke crowd can't exist without the woke crowd because they create this monster that they don't like. And it's sort of a weird Frankenstein situation. But anyways, my only fear is that again it's going to swing too far, the other way. But time will tell. Like they say, time will always tell. And the only thing you do is like just make educated assumptions by what you know and what you see. But that's it. Anyways, happy gaming. Thank you. Bye. Bye bye.